Am I the a-hole for my comment to my girlfriend's sister regarding her accomplishments? So I'm 26 male, usually I'm a very quiet and respectful person. But I don't deal with my girlfriend Kelly's 26 female sister Alexa 27 female at all. I think she's a crappy person, entitled and just not my cup of tea. Alexa was dating my friend Drew when me and Kelly met. Drew was the one who actually helped me get with Kelly in the first place, so I owe the guy a lot. Drew and Alexa were living together and he was supporting her career. She was in law school and he worked full-time. I didn't find this out till after, but he took out the loans for her to go, along with using his salary to pay their housing and paying for her classes. He was really proud of her budding career. Well, about a year ago, Alexa graduated from law school and within a week, broke up with Drew. Drew was heartbroken, and I was the one who found out most of the dirt about the finances. Alexa used him for 3 years for free school and dumps him a week after she graduates. This caused shockwaves in the family. Her parents were furious and Kelly wasn't a fan of her sister for months, but eventually everyone forgave her and acted like Drew never existed. It pissed me off bad, and I haven't said a word to her sister since. I won't address her whenever I'm forced to be around her. Alexa passed the bar and landed a job, so her parents threw her a celebration. I was asked to attend by Kelly. I refused, kept refusing, but eventually she broke down and said she needed me there. So we went, and I talked to the members of her family alike, mostly my girlfriend's dad. So Alexa got up to give a speech to thank people. So as she was in the middle of thanking different people for the help they gave her, I said, "Don't forget to include Drew," loud enough the whole room heard it. It got really quiet, then her dad cracked up, and her mom tried to advance the speech. My girlfriend dragged me outside and tried yelling at me, followed by her mom. The conversation wasn't going well, so I called an Uber and left. My girlfriend is demanding I apologize. I told her I'd apologize when Alexa starts paying Drew back for the debts he is in now. And until then, I wouldn't say a kind word to her sister. And I plan on telling every single guy Alexa dates the story about what she did to Drew. Because as a guy, I'd like to know that info. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. I feel not the a-hole, but you, sir, are the brother and friend everyone needs in life. Tell Drew to take his ex to court. Might be able to get some of the money back. Drew made a decision to take out those loans. That's on him. It would at least smear her name with other attorneys. Drew should sue. Not the a-hole, but it really wasn't your place to do it at a party. But dang, kudos to you for that great line. You know, secretly everyone must have loved it except Alexa. For your own benefit, remember that your girlfriend didn't choose to have Alexa as her sister, but family's family and she's got to live with it. Honestly, I can't believe the parents threw her a party. What she did was so blatantly scummy. Me neither. I called it trashy to my girlfriend and her mom during the fight. Like, why would you celebrate this person? Prestige apparently trumps teaching your kid to be a decent person. Not stay home. Look closely at your girlfriend if she thinks this kind of behavior is okay. Starting to. Her being this supportive of her sister is a huge red flag to me. Next story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for not allowing my girlfriend's sister to move in and changing the locks?" So, a really messy situation. I, 27 male, have been dating my girlfriend Ashton, 26 female, for 2 years and we live in the house that I own. Ashton's finishing up her master's program, so I don't charge her rent. I pay for all the housing expenses, and in return she chips in on groceries, utilities, and some of the household chores. But I pay the lion's share of all household expenses. I'm cool with the situation till she graduates, and we have always communicated well. Until now. So Ashton has a hot and massive sister named Anna, 28 female. Anna's burned most of her bridges with her family. She has 2 kids by 2 different dads, been married and divorced twice, hops from one sketchy boyfriend to another, always in and out of work, and always complaining about her situation instead of actually doing anything to solve it. I gave up on her last year when she dated this loser who obviously didn't like kids, but she kept dating him against me and her sister's advice. Well, she moved into his place, and this Saturday we got a call that they were breaking up and she had nowhere to go this time. She hadn't been working and didn't have rent money. Ashton asked me if we could take them in. I said absolutely not. Her sister was a leech. Also, that I didn't want kids in my house. I work from home half the time and don't want 3 extra people in my space. Also, I don't want to get involved with her sister at all. I've supported her plenty over the last few years, rides, babysitting, etc., and I'm done. My girlfriend didn't take this well and said she would help her sister if she could. I said fine, let me know where you take her and I'll bring by some food, but it won't be my house. My girlfriend tried saying it was her house too, but I said when she started paying the mortgage, she can decide who lives here. So her sister tried calling me individually and I told her the same reasons and told her I'd bring food by when she finds a place. I also gave her the number of multiple organizations that could help her. She got offended. Well, I was at work yesterday, sales, and I noticed on my Ring camera Anna/her kids unlocking my front door with a bag on her shoulder. I called my girlfriend and asked her immediately what was going on. She said Anna needed a place to go for a few hours while her ex moved out of the apartment. I asked how she got in the house as I locked it. Ashton said she made Anna a key months ago in case she ever needed to get in. I was furious and told her to tell Anna to get out or I'll be calling the police. Ashton called and Anna left, but not before calling me an a-hole. So I decided today to change the locks and get a new garage access code. Ashton will have to request through the garage and I will give access. Ashton is upset, but I told her that this is gonna be the way it is until her sister finds a place. Because I can't trust I won't come home and find 2 kids and a woman living in my house. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, and in my opinion, you need to think seriously about your relationship with Ashton. The fact that she went behind your back is a major red flag. I wouldn't make any rash decisions, but she's violated his trust in a big way here. Forgiving this once or twice is possible, but beyond that, it's game over. I don't think I could forgive the copying of my key without my knowledge or permission. Not the a-hole, but I think you need to reevaluate if you can trust Ashton. She way overstepped boundaries by making her sister a key without your permission. Yep, when my boyfriend had a roommate, he consulted him about getting me a key to the apartment if I wanted to get in when they weren't home. His roommate said he'd rather I didn't have a key, but didn't mind if I was already there when they left. That was respected because it was a shared living space. Not stay home. If she wasn't working when she lived with a boyfriend, what's going to make her work when she lives in your house? Exactly the point I made. Anna has a job currently, but I don't think she manages her money well. Your girlfriend is the bigger issue, I'm afraid. Despite your very clear hell no, she still tried to get the sister into your place. She clearly doesn't care that you are opposed to this. She's gonna keep trying. You may need to lose the girlfriend if you can't get her to stop enabling the sister. But do you really want to deal with that crap forever? Time to sit down and make it clear. Stop enabling sister or leave. Next story. Am I the a-hole for likely making my mother lose custody of my siblings? In 2018, my mother got married to the man she was cheating on my dad with for years. This already put a serious dent in the relationship I had with her. I moved out shortly after my stepdad moved in since he thought he suddenly owned everything in the house, including my work computer, PlayStation 4, etc. A few months after moving out, my brother, 18, called me in the middle of the night because our stepdad threw him out for stealing money and catching him in possession of hard drugs, all of which were and still are lies. I already had minimal contact with my mother by that point, and the day my brother moved in with me, I was met with a barrage of texts and calls of my stepdad that I had to bring my brother back with the money or else he'd come get him. I told him to shove it and try me. Fast forward until last year, they divorced because, surprise, he stole the money. He was also an alcoholic and an addict, and admitted to planting the substances in my brother's room. After the divorce and getting a restraining order, he started harassing neighbors. Showed up in the garden in the middle of the night to look inside their windows. Showed up at my sister's school. She's 12 at a time. She's still in therapy over this. It was also discovered that he's blacklisted in every bank in the country from starting loans because of massive debt. The relationship with our mother started healing a bit after this. Through our younger brother, we found out she wasn't home for 3 days straight. So my 18-year-old brother called her, and after some beating around a bush, She tells him he's with our ex-stepdad again. My brother hangs up and texts me this. After subduing my rage, I ask my 16-year-old brother and younger sister, now 14, if they still want to live there. They both say no, and I tell my father. About a week later, she served legal documents that state my father is trying to get full custody of my siblings because of my mother's actions. And according to her own lawyer, there's a high chance she'll lose them. She calls me in panic, and I tell her it's her own fault. She starts crying and screaming that I should be happy that she finally found true love. I ask her if it's worth it to lose all of her children over this, and she responds with insults towards me, my brothers, and my now fiancé. I tell her to never contact me again and hang up. I haven't heard from her since, but I've heard from other people that she's heartbroken that she's about to lose her children. But she's also blaming us and telling everyone that her kids don't want her to be happy and are always on their dad's side. Now, I'm not asking whether or not I'm the a-hole for cutting her out of my life. I'm fairly convinced it's the best thing for me personally. But I think I might have gone a little too far in giving my father more ammo, on top of what he already had, to take my siblings from my mother. I think it's the best for them. I just want to look out for them. So am I the a-hole here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's great that your younger siblings have someone looking out for them. I couldn't add the following information because of the character limit, but my father also looks out for us a great deal. He isn't trying to just get custody to stick it to my mother. He just can't do much without it going through legal channels, because my mother screwed him over pretty bad during the divorce with lies and things that never happened. Well, your mom is now learning that the truth hurts. You've done nothing wrong. Children need to be protected, and you don't leave them at home alone to fend for themselves. Your sister is still in therapy after what happened when she was 12, and your mom disappears for 3 days to spend it with her abuser? OP, thank you for protecting your younger siblings. They need to get out of there. OP, I saved orphans from a burning building, but the arsonist is upset I spoiled her fun. Am I the a-hole? Just in case I end up at the top, not the a-hole. That actually gave me a good laugh. Thank you. When you put it like that, yeah, screw the arsonist. Sarcasm finally saves the day. I do know the world is messier, and until your father wins, this might get worse. But that doesn't mean you're not doing the right thing. Not to mention, there might be reasons your father didn't have any custody in the first place. Sorry though it might be, please help to make sure this isn't jumping from the frying pan into the fire. Go you. As far as I'm aware, the reasons why my mother got custody is because of a traffic misdemeanor that her lawyers used to label him as a criminal, and some other things that were blatant lies. But she was somehow able to convince the court that these claims were true. Our father let me look at all the legal documents of the divorce during the proceedings, because he thought he owed his children full transparency. I haven't caught him in a single lie on anything. He always tells how it is. He looks like the typical biker dude, tall, burly, tattoos, but he's an absolute sweetheart that always looks out for his children. He has always taken us before anything else. He even sold his motorcycles for my brother to be able to pay for college as a gift. There's not a single bad bone in his body. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that if her sister and brother-in-law need a place to stay, they can live in a camper? My wife and I have been married for 4 years and live on a hobby farm I purchased before we started dating. We have just under 15 acres of land, grow our own food and have some chickens, goats, and pigs. I've also spent a lot of time and money updating and renovating the house, quite a bit of which my wife has helped with over the years. One of the upgrades we did was to redo the guest bedroom and bathroom. It's quite nice. Now, my sister-in-law and her husband recently fell in hard times. From what I've heard, it was about 50% bad luck and 50% bad decisions on her husband's part. As a result, they and their 3 kids are currently living in a motel. My wife brought up the idea of having them come stay with us until they get on their feet, but I haven't been too enthusiastic about the idea. Her idea is to have sister-in-law and husband take the guest room, and the kids can sleep on the couches/cots in the living room. We don't have a 3rd bedroom for the kids. Now, I have always been child-free by choice, just never wanted them. I don't hate them, but also don't necessarily want to live with 3 of them either, especially if it's an open-ended living situation. My counter was to allow them to live in my old pop-up camper I have on the property. It's about 10 years old, but it's in great shape as I store it inside. It has enough sleeping space for all of them. A shower and toilet, mini fridge, AC, and heat. In my opinion, it's a pretty sweet camper. Also, and this is a little selfish of me, but I feel it would give them their own space while giving them a place to stay. But it would also maybe be just uncomfortable enough for them to not want to permanently stay, and to give them motivation to find a better option. I also told her that if they stay with us, I would expect them to help out with some chores, even the older kids who are 12 and 14. My wife hates that idea, and can't believe I would force her family to stay outside in the elements, and put them to work when we spent all the time and money to redo the spare bedroom. I told her that unless sister-in-law can give me a concrete move-out date, I don't want them and their kids living in our house indefinitely. She told me that they don't know the first thing about camping or farm work, and they need to focus on getting their lives straight and not worry about anything else. I told her that these are the conditions under which I am comfortable with them staying with us, and I'm not budging. She told me I am being a jerk and unreasonable and that she never expected this kind of behavior from me. The way I feel is that we are doing them a favor. And if we let them stay in the house, the temptation for them to get too comfortable is a lot greater than if they stay in the camper. I understand this could be seen as even a downgrade from living in a motel, but beggars can't be choosers. Not stay home. Open-ended guest situations almost never work out well. Even a newly and nicely renovated guest room is for guests that will be there for a defined time. A living room is a fun place for kids to crash for a visitor sleepover, not for an open-ended living situation. The camper seems like exactly the kind of compromise that anyone should be happy with. It is a lot of stress and really uncomfortable when you have to finally ask them to leave too. It tends to burn bridges. I am totally on the same page as you about the nice newly renovated guest room. In my family, we joke that we like to make the guest rooms comfortable, but not too comfortable so guests leave. Not stay home. It's a very nice offer, and they aren't in the elements. Beggars choosers, blah blah. Honestly, if I had to stay at someone else's home for an indeterminate amount of time, I'd love to have a camper van. It's nice not having to be at attention all the time with your host, and to have your own space where you don't feel like you're bothering them. Not having to share facilities for everything is much better. "16 years after my mother's affair, my dad still refuses to date. My father has always been my superhero. He worked full-time and still managed to put me on the bus every morning. He raised my sister and I entirely on his own. He put me through school, helped me get my first car. He was there for every birthday, graduation. Any difficult time I was going through, he'd drop everything and drive hours to make sure I was okay. I never had a close relationship with my mother, nor do I have many fond memories of her. She had severe insecurities about herself that she projected onto me at a very young age. She would purposely give me ugly haircuts because sometimes she felt I was prettier than her. She would force me to take photos of her for hours until she got the perfect one for her Facebook profile. She was a deeply insecure person and tended to seek out validation online. I was 9 years old when my parents separated. At the time, I was actually excited because my friend's parents were divorced and I thought it was so cool he had 2 Christmases. I didn't understand what was happening and also didn't remember anything about my mother's infidelity until I was a teenager. I was around 15 when everything started to come back after a traumatic experience I went through. I vividly began to remember the first time I, as a 7-year-old, walked in on my mother doing it with a man she cheated on my dad with, who she is still with to this day. He, I'm going to call him Greg, was a guy she went to high school with. They reconnected through Facebook, and unbeknownst to my dad, she began a secret relationship with him. As a kid, I'd always get frustrated because I'd want to play computer games, but my mom was always on Facebook. And I now understand that was because she was communicating with this guy. There were also other men too, but Greg was the most serious. My mother decided she wanted to escalate and begin meeting with Greg in person. She would use the excuse that she was going to visit her father. Meanwhile, she was going to see Greg. The worst part about this is that she would bring my sister and I with her and force us to go to his place and play with his kids. They first met up again at an A&W, something my sister still blames herself for. As kids, our go-to fast food place was Wendy's, so it was particularly odd that this road trip she suggested A&W. I said no, and my sister said yes, so we went to A&W. To my mom's surprise, Greg was there. I now realize through years of therapy that this was all pre-planned and a way to make their meeting up and hanging at his house look more casual. My mom didn't consider the fact that this decision would make my sister blame herself for my parents' marriage falling apart, all because she said yes to going to A&W. When we went to his house for the first time, his daughter was quite mean to me as she was a bit older, and one time she had hit me while we were playing. So I went to go tell my mom and walked into the room and saw them doing it. I didn't understand what was happening, and I immediately began to cry, as I thought he was attacking her. I ran to my sister to tell her, and my mom came running out and made us promise not to tell our dad. The scene is still burned into my mind. Months went by and the guilt grew. My mom started being less sneaky, and my dad actually walked past the computer one time and saw messages being exchanged between Greg and her. He immediately left the house in shambles, and my mom chased after him. They talked, and she said my dad didn't love her enough. My dad promised to do better, and my mom promised she would stop talking to Greg. She didn't. Eventually, when I was 8, my dad accepted that he had lost her completely, and they started planning their separation. He reminded my mom that she would be responsible for keeping in contact with us, my sister and me, not the other way around. He wanted to make it as easy on my sister and me as possible. My mom said she understood. When I was 9, my mom packed her things and moved across the country. She tried keeping connections with us through Skype, but the calls got fewer and fewer. She eventually abandoned us completely. My father has never seen a single dime from her and has raised us completely alone financially. This caused issues when my dad tried to finalize the divorce, but my dad reassured us that he didn't need her money. He was always so selfless and kind. He never spoke a single bad thing about my mother. My mother began posting on Facebook saying she can't understand why my dad didn't chase after her, and that's what she wanted. She didn't want it to come to this. My mom is literally insane. To this day, she still talks badly about my dad. I am now 23 and I still hold guilt over keeping my mom's affair from my dad. My dad has never tried dating again. He shut out his entire circle of friends and became very isolated. The only people, he says, that matter in his life are my sister and me. My dad never sought out therapy, despite my sister and me constantly encouraging it. He is now 65, and it's unbearable seeing him be alone. His trust was completely shattered, and it completely changed him as a person. I wonder if, because he had to raise both my sister and me, he felt he had no time to focus on himself and his own well-being. I want my dad to be happy, and I can tell that he still struggles with these issues greatly every day. I still feel like if I had told him what happened earlier, maybe things would be better. Maybe he would have been able to move on and find someone who loved him genuinely, or maybe he wouldn't have become so isolated. I still want him to go to therapy, but nothing I say to him changes his mind, though I feel he would greatly benefit from it. I want him to be able to date again or even just go out with friends again, but I don't know how to encourage him to do this. Recently, my mom has tried to reconnect with me, but I want absolutely nothing to do with her. She said she was sorry for ruining our lives, and her words felt empty and crass. I don't know how to respond to my mom or if I should even respond at all. I don't know if I'll ever be able to have a relationship with my mother again after what she did to my dad. Now for the top comments. Holy smokes, this was an intense read. I cannot imagine the hell you and your family faced. My suggestion is, if possible, are there any clubs nearby your father is interested in you can perhaps have him enroll in? For example, maybe a fishing, hiking, etc. club he can begin to meet people at? Maybe even you and your sister can attend it with him a few times to try it out so he can steadily begin to expand his circle in case he rejects therapy for now. Good luck, Opie. I highly recommend going out together with him, either just you or you and your sister. That way, it comes off more as a subtle push to get him to start living his life again. Since he only really cares about you too, making it a family experience would be more likely to gain his willingness. As for your mom, I've got nothing. Personally, I don't think I could have a relationship with her in your situation. This is what cheating does. It destroys people. I would just let her go. She's not a good person. Infidelity is a form of abuse. Let it be the wedge that it is. I wanted to mention something I forgot to bring up. In a message she recently sent me, she also said my sister and I are the only ones on her and Greg's will. His children were also cut off. She had a large hand in that happening, and they no longer associate with either of them. It feels like this also was super selfish of her and a way to basically force me to respond. I have not. I think she realized they both have no one around now they're getting older and need more care, and maybe thought this was a way to establish a connection with my sister and I again. Your mom's reconnecting may be that she realized she has no one to care for her in old age. She may need her daughter's help now. She realized that now that she reached the age where if something were to happen, she is alone. I would let her know you only have one parent, the one that didn't abandon the family. She can make it up by never contacting any of you again. This is honestly definitely it. After my mom left and abandoned us, she encouraged Greg to also cut off his kids. He did, and they also lost contact with him and now want nothing to do with either of them. I am still in contact with his two kids, and they told me everything that mom also did to them. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to forgive my mom and uncle for what they did to dad? When I, 23 female, was 9, my dad passed away in an accident. It was hard for me and my brothers, 25 male and 21 male, because all of us were very close to him. Mom was a stay-at-home mom, so suddenly she was without support, and things became really tough for us in the months that followed. After about a year, our uncle, dad's younger brother, contacted mom and began visiting us regularly. He took good care of us and helped out a lot. We all really liked him. Later, he asked mom out, and she said yes. It was strange to see her with him, but we were young and wanted her to be happy. Our uncle also promised to take care of us. Over time, I grew to see him as a stepdad and loved him like that. They got married 3 years after dad died, and now they have 2 kids together. My brothers and I really did love him and were happy for mom. We never felt like dad was replaced because both mom and uncle were very respectful about his place in our lives. A few months ago, my brother, 25 male, was clearing out the attic at our old house and found mom's diary. It turns out mom had been having an affair with uncle for years, and she admitted to seriously doubting whether if all or any of us were really dad's children. It was disgusting to learn about all this so many years later. Dad had only recently found out about the affair, and a few weeks later, he was gone. I guess now I know why he suddenly became an alcoholic and decided to drink and drive despite always telling us to think of family before taking risks. My brother confronted mom and everything sort of blew up. Uncle tried to intervene, but my brother almost attacked him. It was unbelievable, really. We had been a happy, almost normal family for years since dad passed, and now it's completely wrecked. Both my brothers have completely cut off mom, and any mention of them not being dad's children results in them hurling all sorts of insults at her. My half-siblings have become withdrawn and don't really talk to mom either. Most of our extended family is shunning her and our uncle. He keeps saying he just loved mom and nothing else. He even tried saying he loved us whether we were his kids or not, but it only makes me feel more disgusted. Mom recently called me begging me to talk to my brothers and asking that we try to get back together as a family. She said she wouldn't throw away the family at home we'd built over the years. She claims she mourned dad for years and was respectful of him for years before getting together with uncle, which I called BS on. I told her I didn't want to see her and that there is no way any of us can forgive her for what she did to dad. Mom said I was being needlessly cruel and that it was vile to throw her out of our lives after she cared for us all these years. My boyfriend agrees with her. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Damn, this is rough. Mom is blaming you guys for breaking up a family, but that family was based on lies, and she lied to you over years that never came clear. Your dad turning to alcohol and pass away in a car crash for drunk driving. And then you finding out that his alcohol use started when he found out about his wife cheating on him with his brother makes everything so much worse. They literally drove him into alcohol use that led to his untimely death, robbing you of your father. This is so awful, and both don't even own up to their mistakes. I only did it for love. Nope, he did it for himself. Next thing you know, but we are a family. So was your dad, and see what they did to him. Damn, I don't even have words. They both were selfish. Your uncle did his brother wrong. Your mom did her husband wrong, which directly led to his death. Don't want to hear about family and how they should stick together. Everything was in the past. Don't hold a grudge. They are together now. They got what they wanted, your father out of the way. Now they have to live with the consequences of their decision. There is a special place in hell for people like this. Block them and move on. Timeline. If it is possible that your eldest brother could be the uncles, then the affair was going on for at least 12 years prior to your father's death. 12 years. 3 possible pregnancies. How long were they even married before the affair started? You should all get your DNA tested, so at least you know who your bio father is. If they could lie to all of you for all those years and instead of your mother divorcing your father, slowly caused his death, then that is not love. Not for anyone. What was your mother getting from your father? If she loved the brother, she should have gotten a divorce and married him. The brother should have spoken to your father rather than watching him off himself. Last story. After my dad's passing, my mom started seeing a younger guy from his soccer team. I'm torn between anger and heartbreak. I'm 28 male from a small town in northern Sweden, the kind of place where everyone knows each other, and most families have lived here for generations. My dad was a bit of a local legend, well-liked, respected, and someone people could rely on. For over 30 years, he volunteered as the equipment manager for our local amateur soccer team, without pay, purely out of love for the game and the team. Back in the day, he even played on a team himself. You could count the games he missed on one hand. My mom, 52 female, works as a journalist for a local newspaper and covers everything from politics to sports. She would sometimes come to the games, especially if she was writing an article, but she never had the same passion for it that my dad did. 6 months ago, the team got a new player, a guy 25 male from Somalia. Our sports manager met him during a trip to Africa and recruited him. He wasn't a professional, but he was one of the best players the team had in a while. My dad liked him a lot, and after wins, he would take the whole team to McDonald's, treating all the players like they were his kids, including this new guy. Then, about 4 months ago, everything changed. My dad passed away suddenly. Losing him was a shock for my mom and me, and the whole town mourned him. So many people showed up at his funeral, it felt like the entire town was there. Even the soccer team held a moment of silence and dedicated a tribute to him at the next game. It was a beautiful send-off, and felt like the right farewell. After he was gone, my mom started attending the games more often, finding some kind of comfort there. She also started working on a project about the team's history, interviewing several players, including the Somali guy. Eventually, I started to notice things. I'd often see this guy around my mom's neighborhood. Sometimes, I'd see him leaving the area or jogging nearby. At first, I didn't think much of it, but over time, it started to bother me. He was around way too often. A few weeks ago, during fall break, I went with my wife and kids to visit her family in southern Sweden. A few days later, I got a call from my best friend. He sounded hesitant and almost uncomfortable, which made me worried. Then he told me something that completely shocked me. Apparently, he had seen this guy from the soccer team leaving my mom's house. I was stunned and couldn't believe what I was hearing. I refused to believe it. When I got back home after the break, I was still just as confused and worried. A few nights later, I was on my way to visit my mom, but when I arrived and saw the house in the dark, I had a sudden impulse to stay out of sight. I crept around to the back, carefully made my way through the garden and moved toward the windows at the back of the house. When I looked through the living room window, I saw something that made my heart stop. My mom was sitting on a couch, snuggled up with that guy from the team. They were leaning into each other, and it was clear they were cozying up together. The sight froze me in place, and everything inside me just twisted. The shock and betrayal. I don't even know how I got home. I've cried more in the past week than I thought was possible. I can't wrap my head around it. This is the same guy my dad had welcomed into the team and treated like a son. Imagining him in my dad's house with my mom feels like a violation of everything my dad built, everything he loved. I feel sick, like my dad's memory has been tarnished and disrespected, and he's probably turning in his grave. I haven't spoken to my mom since then. I feel like she's disrespected my dad's memory, and so did a guy. I'm devastated. Do you feel this way because of the timing? How much time has passed since your father died and this discovery? Is it also because of the age difference? Honestly, it's everything, from the timing to the very inappropriate age gap. This also feels deeply disrespectful to my dad's memory. He was a huge fan of this team, something that was really special to him and to us as a family. To see someone step into this role in his absence, especially with such a big emotional connection to my dad, feels like a betrayal on so many levels. I'm just shocked that this is happening so soon and that she's with this guy in specific.